All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most brain-melting ideas out there. We're going to get right into it today and tackle this massive question. Is time just a stubborn illusion?
You've probably heard this before, right? It pops up in articles, documentaries. It's this super catchy idea that our whole experience of past, present, and future is just wrong. But what if that whole concept, as popular as it is built on a massive misunderstanding? Yeah, the source material we're digging into today really doesn't pull any punches. It makes the case that this idea isn't some deep, profound insight. It's actually just nonsense. So let's pull this argument apart and see how it holds up. So, how in the world do you even begin to argue against an idea that big? Well, according to the argument we're following, you don't need a PhD in theoretical physics. Nope. You just need to start with one single, undeniable fact about the world we all live in. See, to really get a handle on time, the argument goes, we first have to agree on something way more basic, something you and I can see happening every single moment of every single day. And that one simple thing is change. I mean, just look around you. The earth is spinning, your body is aging, your coffee is getting cold. The entire universe is constantly, relentlessly changing. And unless you want to argue that all of reality is an illusion, you kind of have to admit that change is real. That's our starting block.
Okay, so if we can all agree that change is real, then what is time? Well, it's just how we measure that change. That's it. That is the absolute core of this entire argument. Time is the measure of change. It's the number we put on the before and after.
So it really breaks down into this simple logical flow. Step 1, things in the universe change. Fact. Step 2, we can measure how much they change, whether it's with an atomic clock or just by watching the sun move across the sky. Fact. So step 3 becomes inevitable. That measurement we're taking, that is time. It's not some mysterious river flowing around us. It's a direct property of a changing universe. Okay, but I can hear you thinking, hold on a minute. If time is just a measurement, why does it feel like a one-way street? Why do I remember yesterday but not tomorrow? And that is a fantastic question. This is really the heart of all the confusion, right? This feeling we all have, the arrow of time, that things are always moving forward. Well, according to our source, we're actually confusing time itself with something else entirely. And that something else is called entropy. You've probably heard of it. It's basically the universe's tendency to get messier. It's why an egg, once scrambled, doesn't just unscramble itself. Things tend to move from a neat, orderly state to a more chaotic, disordered one. And that process gives us the feeling of a direction. So let's be super clear about this, because it's the most important distinction. Time is the measurement of any change. The arrow of time is just our human perception of that change, which seems to only go one way because of entropy. The source we're looking at even points out that the arrow of time isn't really a concrete, well-defined thing in the equations of physics. It's more of an intuition. All right, so let's shift gears from the philosophical to the practical, because for a working physicist, this isn't just a fun debate to have over coffee. The reality of time is, well, it's everything. It's the foundation their entire job is built on. In almost every major equation in physics, you'll find this little symbol, dt. Now, don't let it look intimidating. All it means is a tiny, tiny change in time. It's the tool physicists use to describe how something, well, changes from one instant to the very next. It's everywhere, from calculating the path of a planet to designing the chip in your phone. So here's where it all comes crashing down for the time is an illusion idea. If time isn't real, then its measurement, that little dt, is meaningless. And if that's meaningless, you're saying change isn't real. And if change isn't real, what is a physicist even supposed to study? The entire science of physics, which is fundamentally the study of change, just stops. It becomes useless. And this quote from the source really just puts it all on the table. It's not a choice. For the entire scientific endeavor to make any sense, you have to accept that change is real. And if you accept that, you have to accept the reality of what we use to measure it, time. So you might be wondering, if the logic is that straightforward, change is real, so its measurement must be real, then why does this debate even exist? Why do we see headlines about time being an illusion all the time? Well, the source material we're drawing from has a few ideas about that, and it suggests the reasons might have a lot more to do with human nature and the business of science than the science itself. A few things are going on here.
First, physics isn't done. There are still huge mysteries out there, and in those empty spaces, speculation can run wild. Second, let's be honest, time is an illusion is a way more exciting headline than time is a measurement of change. Provocative ideas get attention and sell books. And when you put those two together, you create this environment where, as our source says, you can pretty much say anything they like, and it can gain traction.
So let's wrap this all up. The argument we've explored today is really, really simple at its core. We can see, feel, and measure that the universe is changing. The word we use for that measurement is time. So if change is real, then time has to be real too.
And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. If time isn't some cosmic force that's happening to us, but is simply a reflection of the universe changing all around us, what does that really mean when we talk about wasting time? What are we actually wasting? Something to think about. Thanks so much for diving into this with us.